Yeah, that's going to be correct. I'll be here offering some insight and more or less just giving you somebody to talk to about the game. Last game was really exciting to watch. A lot of topsy-turvy plays, and that Warlock, man, I was kind of heartbroken that he didn't go for upheaval earlier and ended up getting no points into it at all. But in the end, it paid off. What a game.
5 seconds remaining.
What a game indeed, and that level of aggression is just something I love to see, and we might be getting much of the same. We get a ban out on Doom, Razor, Lycan and Void. We get a first pick of the Skywrath Mage once again. This time, however, it will be a Brewmaster and a Vengeful Spirit in favour of Sqreen Squad.
Yeah, it's a solid start if they want to play aggressively like they did last game. Vengeful Spirit, a really good roaming support with the Magic Missile, as well as on the Dire side, giving them a fairly easy Roshan with the minus armor, and also Brewmaster with his ultimate is going to give them a lot of mid-game teamfight pressure. I think this is a pretty solid first two picks, although it's kind of weird to see the Shadow Shaman ignored. And, well, he'll continue to be so throughout the draft as Earthshaker's the next pickup for HEHE.
Well, we got Skywrath Earthshaker, one of the devastating support combos that we've seen in this patch, and I've mentioned it so many damn times. It is popular, it is aggressive, and defensive at the same time. Earthshaker, one of the best defensive supports in the game. Skywrath, aggression is the name of his game.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, definitely. Starting out with the concussive shot to line up a perfect fissure is wonderful, and then, as you said, as a defensive supporting duo, they can really function well, zoning out offlaners with the arcane bolts, and offering defensive fissures to secure whatever farm you want. There's a lot of different directions you can go with these two.
I'd completely agree, and, well, that kind of aggression is what I'm hoping for, in all honesty, but now we go into the next ban phase. Wraith King banned out by HEHE United, and as a response, we get a Viper ban out of Sqreen Squad.
Yeah, Wraith King would have functioned pretty well inside Sqreen Squad's lineup, giving them just a lot of aura support for all of their heroes. Some heroes that aren't traditionally your right-clickers would be hitting very hard, with the extra damage coming out from Vengeance Aura as well as the lifesteal. Luna will be banned out by HEHE, also another aura carrier that would have bolstered the push coming out from Sqreen Squad. Definitely can understand it. The Viper is more standard as far as bans are concerned. Would have just been a nice mech carrier for HEHE. Shadow Shaman is going to be in the pool, and with first pick coming out of the banning stage, I'm going to expect Sqreen Squad to pick that one up for themselves, although I definitely wouldn't be opposed to something a little bit more out of the box as we saw last game.
Out of the box is good. I mentioned in yesterday and in earlier casts today, unorthodox is the line between genius and insanity. It is a good way to look at it, and it just brings so much entertainment to me at least. But we do get the Death Prophet ban. This does leave Tinker and Shadow Shaman in the pool.
Yeah, in such a meta that's so stale as this one that's been around for a long time, we're kind of awaiting 6.82. It's still interesting to see teams experimenting and picking up something fresh, and it catches a lot of teams off guard because they're so used to just these like 10 heroes that everybody's picking up, and a Crystal Maiden coming up from the Dire. Honestly, I like this pick, but I don't like this pick. I like it because it's Crystal Maiden, we don't get to see her played very often. But then again, I think there's other supports that just offer a lot more. The extra mana is going to be nice for the Vengeful Spirit and Brewmaster in lane, but I definitely think if they want to go the mana department, just pick up something like a Keeper of the Light, and I think the Shadow Shaman would have just been all around a lot better.
I'd agree. The Shadow Shaman brings you more push, it brings you a good amount of control. What does Crystal Maiden bring you? The aura is nice, you get a slow and a good stuff. Problem with Crystal Maiden, she is so damn squishy, for one. For two, she doesn't have enough mana pool currently to be able to use her ultimate and her spells at least reasonably amounts in the team fights. The mana pool of Crystal Maiden is one of the biggest damn problems. Oh, hello. We get the Mirana for HEHE, which I'll address first, but that aside, we go unorthodox once more. We get a Night Stalker, and when we say aggression, I like Night Stalker.
Absolutely. The mid-game coming out from Sqreen Squad is going to be so important for them, in particular the second nighttime, because that's when Brewmaster is going to be thinking about either getting some basic items up for himself, presumably a Blink Dagger, and it's going to be when Night Stalker is going to hit his stride. He's probably not going to be very active around the first night. He might get like 1 or 2 kills in lane. But other than that, it's more or less just going to be farming and waiting for those levels. It's the second nighttime that's going to be pivotal for them. If they can get kills with this Vengeful Spirit and Night Stalker around the map as well as the Brewmaster ultimate, it could pan out for them in a big way. But, I don't know, Night Stalker as a pick, I love seeing it because of the aggression, but if they aren't able to get off of the ground with those kills, I really fear for Sqreen Squad this game.
I'd agree. You need a good set of nighttime kills for Night Stalker in the early game. And I will say the lineup from Sqreen Squad, how aggressive they played in the last game, I could expect kills in the first night. Especially if Night Stalker can get a good early start in the lane. That level of aggression, we saw how aggressive they like to play in game number 1. If they repeat it in game number 2, this Night Stalker will be a very scary force of nature. But now, how do you answer that Night Stalker? You've got the Fissure from the Earthshaker, which is going to at least attempt to save his teammates, but during the night time, you have a potential for an 8-second silence from a Night Stalker.
And that could be amazing. Up against a Gyrocopter and Skywrath Mage, they're fairly reliant on their spells early on. The Earthshaker and Marauder are probably going to be on the backline throwing out Fissure and Arrow respectively, and you're probably not going to catch them out. But Earthshaker, Marauder, all of those heroes are very squishy if Night Stalker is able to get the silence off of them. There's very little they can actually do up against that. But it looks like HEHE United are going to end up going with an aggressive tri-lane with the Skywrath Mage, Earthshaker, and Mirana, and I think that's going to work out for them fairly well. It'll allow their supports to rotate and put some pressure on that Night Stalker early, but if these lanes remain static coming out from HEHE, I'm not a huge fan of their draft. The Gyrocopter pick that we've kind of glanced over, I'm assuming this is going to be solo safe lane, but a mid Gyrocopter could be something interesting to see.
A mid Gyrocopter, I think, would lose to the Night Stalker fairly easily, considering Night Stalker has the edge in terms of last hit damage as well as the ability to harass. But if you consider the aggressive potential tri-lane of Mirana, Earthshaker, Skywrath, a safe lane Gyro would not be a surprise here.
Yeah, definitely. So we're probably looking for that mid-hero. No big surprises. The Tinker's banned out coming out from his Sqreen squad. More than anything, just a really annoying hero that they don't want to deal with.
5 seconds remaining.
But we do have one more ban available to HEHE, and what do you think they're going to take out with this one?
Reserve time.
I have no idea. As it stands, I'd expect the Night Stalker to go mid and Brewmaster to go to the off lane. So potentially a safe lane carry. But we could also just be seeing a very aggressive offlane hero. We have Centaur and Tidehunter both in the pool, and I think those heroes would function pretty well. I'm kind of leaning towards the Centaur. Honestly, the single target initiation as well as the Stampede will be very useful for them. But it would also leave HEHE open for potentially a Timbersaw pick. I think that would turn out really well for them if they end up going for something along the lines of a Centaur, as that would be a 3-strength core. And then in lane, Timbersaw can definitely handle a Night Stalker if that is your 1v1 matchup. And even a Brewmaster, I don't think there's a way that Sqreen Squad would be able to work around that if they go for either of those heroes.
Timbersaw would be a very good pick in my mind, especially considering they're strength heroes. They're not only going to take a large amount of damage from Whirling Death, they're also going to lose a percentage of their strength, which is going to mean they take even more damage. It's a brilliant pickup in my mind here, and anything that can drain enemy strength like that, it's such an effective thing. And you always have to keep in mind that you're missing strength, so it does more damage than it visibly shows in terms of on the hero. It's like why you have to always respect an Undying, because if you get those stacks of decay, the damage you take is deceptive, because your maximum health changes.
Yeah, Bloodseeker, the ban coming out from HEHE. Not something I was expecting to be banned, but they'll go ahead and pick up the Invoker. This pick is going to help them get those aggressive rotations around the map with the Sunstrike, offering that little bit of extra killing potential when the Night Stalker isolates a single target or if they stun up with the Magic Missile. They don't have the best setup for the Sunstrikes. Well, this definitely could work out for them. It doesn't really feel like a very committed pick in their lineup. It could go a lot of different ways.
They could, but the Invoker was actually called here by the chat. They predicted the Invoker, and I like this idea. If they play with the aggressive style that they've shown in game number 1, an aggressive Invoker looking for early exhorts, Sunstrikes, Forged Spirits, Cold... what's the word I'm looking for? Cold Snap. I'll get there eventually. My mind is just blown too many games so far today. But nonetheless, aggression is what they want, and now they're going to be pushing into a Venomancer, and this is most likely going to be a... Actually, what is this going to be? If we've got an aggressive tri-lane Mirana, surely not. Mid-Skywrath support Veno, surely?
I don't know, I think Core Veno could also work out for them, well, coming out from the aggression of Sqreen Squad. Yeah, I have no idea how these lanes are going to work out. We're just going to have to see once they jump into it. I think these lanes are pretty interchangeable coming out from HEHE. I think that's a pretty big strength of their draft, though. It's probably going to catch out Sqreen Squad off guard. The Invoker was actually called in the chat for HEHE, and that definitely would have been a solid pickup for them. Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker setting up those Sunstrikes. But now, on the flip side of the coin, it looks like we are going to see an off-lane Brew with a Midnight Stalker and safe lane Invoker would be my guess. And Vengeful Spirit, Crystal Maiden are probably going to have a lot of room to roam around these lanes, as all of them are pretty self-sufficient.
Indeed, very self-sufficient in this game, and did I just hear you taking my sayings, flip side of this coin?
Potentially, I don't know, stuff rubs off on me when I cast with somebody else, so it's definitely a possibility.
What in Divinity's Edge is going on? Either way, let's introduce the teams, shall we? For the side of Sqreen Squad, who don't have their name set, unfortunately, we do have Sqreen on the Crystal Maiden, ZXC on the Invoker, Nubic on the Night Stalker, Afterlife on the Brewmaster, and Slander on the Vengeful Spirit.
And leading the charge for HEHE Someday We'll Be United as Niz, playing on that Venomancer, Blue Banana. On the Gyrocopter, we're going to have a Skyreth Mage handled by, oh my goodness, I can't see, HWA.
AKG.
Is going to be
AKG.
AKG, oh I see. And then Fire is going to be playing on the Earthshaker with Chip Shazian going to be playing on the Mirana. Looks like we're going to have an early skirmish potentially as Crystal Maiden is roaming out there with boots first. They don't actually throw any spells, just an awkward standoff. The Gale's going to land on everybody with the arrow follow-up onto Slander.
Now we have the potential to turn around with Fire. He gets the block onto Slander. They will bring down the Vengeful Spirit as First Blood. They could, in my mind, have gotten more off the back of that, but they're happy to get First Blood and will back away off of that one. That could have been a catastrophe there for Sqreen Squad if they managed to pick up more off that Gale.
Yeah, still a First Blood for Blue Banana, not where you want to start this game off, and Gyrocopter is going to have a really good time in the laning phase. It looks like we are going to have a support, or a core Venomancer as the starting items, lots of regen, as well as the start of a Basilius. But then again, Gyrocopter looks like he's going to handle the mid.
I don't think so. I think we're going to see most likely AKG handle the mid lane and then rotation from potentially...
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, rotation from potentially Blue Banana heading to the top lane. Now, in the top lane, he's probably going to have a better time, and you leave that as a Venomancer in safe lane in that respect. And I'm expecting this Venomancer to be played similar to how Trixie handles his solo offlane Venomancer. High points in wards, high points in Poison Sting, and that's going to just help him get the inevitable push going on. It'll also give you the vision of just dropping the Plague Wards in the jungle so you can see if that Night Stalker is going to gank you. But it's actually up against the Night Stalker, so we have the aggressive tri-lane coming out of Sqreen Squad, and they're going to look potentially for Nihis. Aggressive ward going to be dropped in the jungle, and this could potentially be a very bad lane here for Nihis. Generally, you would want something a little less in your face when you're a Venomancer.
Yeah, especially Venomancer, very slow hero early on, and usually when you see an offlane Venom, he's going to pick up those boots first. I think he was expecting a 1v1 matchup versus the Brewmaster, but at least for the early levels, Venomancer is going to be completely zoned out from last hitting and just trying to soak as much experience as possible. He'll have the Plague Wards, but only level 1. Slander's going to be able to farm that one up, and it looks like it is just going to be aggressive tri-lanes coming out from both teams. They're both going to be able to dodge each other. Either of these offlaners could get caught out if they line up the follow-up stunts.
And in my mind, this is... worse in my mind for Sqreen Squad. Their Brewmaster's going to get heavily punished, so he's going to be forced out potentially of experience range, and that's going to delay the all-important primal split. And honestly, that's never a place you want to be as a Brewmaster.
Yeah. If Afterlife is not able to get up that primal split at a good time, his impact on this game is going to be heavily delayed. I think he'll be able to still get it up at a decent timing, but yeah, we're not going to be seeing any fast blink dagger by any means.
Eats a void, but in comes the Fissure rotation to defend this one. Gale going to fly out onto Sqreen though. He's taking good amounts of damage from those Plague Wards, and I think he should be safe off the back of this one. I don't think he's going to be able to be brought down, even with that rotation in from Fire to help Nihis, since there was a bit of aggression onto him there.
Yeah, this is going to be the more defensive side of Earthshaker that we're going to be seeing coming out from HEHE United. At least at the early portions of this game, he's going to just try to help Venomancer out in this lane. Usually you'd like to see him rotating around with the Mirana, but I don't know, arguably he wouldn't be able to get a very easy setup for the arrow, especially at early levels of Fissure. You kind of have to throw them simultaneously if you hope to hit that.
I would agree. I would completely agree. But we are seeing Fire messing around with Sqreen right now, and if they can punish this rotation from the Crystal Maiden, that's going to be absolutely perfect. But if Crystal Maiden can pick up the occasional hard creep in the jungle, the Crystal Maiden's at least going to have a very good start. But we do get potential rotation as Mirana dies to the Dire.
Yeah, diving onto the Invoker, looking for the kill there, and I don't know, diving into Cold Snap as well as a Quas Invoker. Or the regen from Quas, rather, on Invoker is very problematic. I don't know, that was a very unlikely kill, I feel, unless they were able to have enough harass before the arrow landed, coming out from Arcane Bolt.
Well, when you consider these two teams, now, you say yesterday you're not, well, you say the day before yesterday that you're not much of a betting man. Where are you going to bet?
I have no idea. After seeing last game, I think it's very volatile. We're going to have a Fissure down in bottom. Not sure what's going to make of this.
Well, we do have the rotations coming in from the Night Stalker, but in comes the TPs from Chip. He wants to try to get something off the back of this one. Arrow's going to fly into Nubic's back, and are they going to be able to kill the Night Stalker? I don't think they can. With the potential slow and the damage coming out of Slander's Magic Missile, it's going to force everyone back, and it should be a 3-man rotation away. They should all be safe off the back of that one.
I would think so as well, but now it's going to make a nice tri lane down in bottom for them. It's kind of weird to see the Venomancer as the farming core here, but this is going to allow their lanes to be a lot more effective. Gyrocopter Soul up against the Brewmaster should do just fine, although the Drunken Haze is going to be annoying, and Blue Banana is not going to have the best time, but still not the worst.
Yeah, very true. The Drunken Haze, I do like the early point in Drunken Haze because it does cause so much potential for missing creeps and damaging the opponent's CS score. And honestly, it's rarer that we see the points in Drunken Haze these days. Hell, even teams like Na'Vi, when they run the brew, they go 2-0-2 at level 4, and they tend to pick the Drunken Haze up at a later point in the game. Then again, we do see another aggressive kill. This time, AKG, however, will potentially get a counter kill here, but they lose the Invoker of ZXC once more in this one.
Yeah, Invoker just not respecting the solo kill potential of your Skywrath Mage before level 6. He just has so much damage. We're used to kind of seeing those support Skywraths that don't do as much with those Arcane Bolts, but now that it's 3 points into it, it just does so much. Is Chip Sagan getting chased down by the Night Stalker?
Yeah, Chip Sagan will potentially fall here. Sunstrike's going to drop as well, but one more right click does clean that up the way of Nubik, and this is the threat of Night Stalker. First Night, aggressive already coming out of Sqreen Squadron. We could be in for another 2 kills a minute game if this keeps up.
Yeah, I don't think Nubik's going to be able to get very many more kills in this night. He's too low on mana to have another Void, and he doesn't have enough points in 100 of Night and no points into the Silence.
Top lane,
he might be able to get one. Oh,
Mystic Flare will clean up the Brewmaster.
Absolutely. Brewmaster did not stand a chance. He's not level 6, so not even going to have the hope of a split. Even then, they had the Ancient Seal to keep him silenced up.
Well, one thing I do like from the Night Stalker right now, he's opted for that very early Urn of Shadows. So all of that killing potential going to be backed up and potentially increased due to the dot damage or just sustained for his whole team. So we could be looking for that potential death ball off the back of kills instead of just heavy push, which is a variant on the style, but we still do see it occasionally. I mean, Na'Vi in TI, they ran the Night Stalker and they just balled out of control in that one game where they did. If you recall it, that is.
Is that one of the TI3 finals games?
No, that was, TI4. It was Dendi Night Stalker. It was group stages, I want to say, up against LGD. I could be wrong on that one, though.
Yeah, I know they pick it every once in a while for Dendi, and the times that I've seen it, it's been really impressive.
Well, Night Stalker's one of those heroes that, if you can see it coming, you can deal with it. However, occasionally, when it's picked up, it just completely blindsides your opponent. It's one of the things I love about the hero. Sure, we don't see it often, but when we see it, it has an impact.
Yeah, not sure if this game is going to be the best Night Stalker game, but at least for these early portions, he's been able to pick up some kills, or at least the one kill, and CSing decently well.
He is, and honestly, when you're in an aggressive tri-lane, all you really care about is forcing back the enemy hero. And where do we stand on this one? We have a level 5 Venomancer. 3 points up in his Plague Wards. He's starting to get that ball of push online. Considering he already has that Bacillus, he could potentially go for the Killer if he wants it, but I'm expecting boots maybe into Arcanes and just being able to ramp up the pressure of that push. We'll see potentially a later point in Poison Over, just so we can get more points in Poison Sting, and of course Plague Wards at level 4.
Agreed. Well, it looks like we're going to get back into this game as the pause is going to subside coming up from both of these teams.
Well, now we're back on the show. Let's see what we can see in this game. We've got ZXC continuing to at least exert some pressure in his mid lane. He needs to be a little more respectable towards the Skywrath Mage, as we mentioned before. Now, what do you think we're going to see out of the Invoker this game if he's going to be trying to recover off the back of those 2 deaths? Do we see, one death. Do we see the potential for a Midas, or do you think we're just going to see a Ewel's, or do we see a Necro Book? What do you think the Invoker's going to go for in this one?
I expect a Midas, although it will be delayed by the kill. I think it's just always a good item to have on your Exhort Invokers, particularly. Getting those extra levels is probably the more compelling reason to get the Midas, and then the catch-up farm is always good. If he goes straight for the Necrobook, not sure if he'll be able to push fast enough with that in order to warrant passing up the hand of Midas. But we'll see. ZXC might pick up something very aggressive like the Eul's Scepter. It's a lot of fun to watch a Eul's Invoker, although I think it just kind of falls a little bit short of your Midas Necrobook.
I would agree, and the Midas, of course, you mentioned it'll give you the extra levels. That level acceleration can't be underestimated, but now we get the aggressive play. The arrow impacts the Forge Spirit, and they're not going to be able to kill ZXC off the back of this one. He saw this gank coming and wisely reacted.
Yeah, they have the Skywrath Mage ultimate off of cooldown yet again after the gank up top, but the Earthshaker dies inside the base. Night Stalker, how did that happen?
I'm guessing the urn ticked him down from the last. if the urn had a charge. But then again, the urn was just picked up, so it could have just been a delayed reaction.
Yeah, as he's going to go in the Sqreen in mid.
Yeah, AKG now in a lot of trouble, but turnaround comes on to Nubik, and he's forced out of the lane. Do they have the Sunstrike, though? Where is the Sunstrike? Doesn't have it for 22 seconds because it was committing the jungle there, but they're going to find Chip in the meantime. He goes down in the river, and, well, he was crossing the river. What do we not do, ladies and gentlemen? We don't cross the river. At least this early alone.
Yeah, as a support Mirana, she has the leap, but that's not going to save you there. Between too many high-level heroes, just too much damage. Not much more to say.
Equally, though, look at the bot lane quickly. We've got Nihis starting to build up that Plague Ward presence on the bottom lane, and if he can get this tower down and is left alone to it, he can easily finish this one off. But we do also have Ping's mid lane. We might see a tower trade. HEHE. They're going to try to defend this mid lane, surely, and it's going to be a rough one, considering you've got Invoker here, you've got Crystal Maiden, but more importantly, you've got Nubik lurking nearby on that Night Stalker.
Yeah, as much as I like the aggressive play coming out from the Night Stalker, I think he would have been able to get a little bit more out of this first night if he just went and farmed after the kill that he got early on in the night. I don't think this roaming around has suited him enough, and he has the Urn and Brown Boots, which is fine, but really you want a little bit
combo
more.
ZXC, Arrow into Mystic Flare. Yeah, he got picked off once more, and it's a very rough game for the Invoker at this point. But
yeah, just a lot of pick-off potential coming out from these lanes.
Indeed, we're seeing that level of aggression again, and now we're going to see her go on to Nihis. The damage from Nubik is there, as well as the slow from the Crystal Maiden. This will be a dead Venomancer. It's only a matter of how much he gets in exchange. They bring the Night Stalker down, so it's a 1-for-1. Then again, we do have Blue Banana coming in the back lines. Has a Rocket going to be going far, but Rocket Barrage to clean up the illusions just to ensure nothing funny happens, and Sqreen will eat damage under the tower. Unfortunately, the Arrow just off point, and now we get the cooldown as well. Swap just for safety there behind the tier 1, and from where we stand, this should be an easy tier 1 tower in favor of HEHE United.
Yeah. I mean, that swap was probably not necessary, but there's very little that they'll be able to do in counter push. Excuse me, Night Stalker TP's in, and he's not going to be able to do much. He might attempt to deny it, but that could be his demise. I don't know.
I don't think so. Not with fire there. Fire on that Earthshaker would just be able to fish him up, block him, and that would be a dead Night Stalker. And the tower does go the way of the Gyrocopter, so the extra gold into his pocket. But what you were saying about the Night Stalker... Oh, as mid, we got another fight kicking off. This time it's the Skywrath Mage cleaning up the Crystal Maiden once more, but in comes the turnaround. Do they have the damage to get any kills here? Nihis is certainly doing some good work. They lost the Skywrath, of course, and it's going to potentially be a double kill to the damage of the Poison Nova, assuming there's another dot present. And there is, and down goes the Vengeful Spirit, but an Arrow will impact and clean up the Invoker.
Yeah, a very nice arrow shot by the Mirana, and all said and done, HEHE are going to be pretty happy with that trade, especially if they're going to be able to get this tier 1 tower. Yeah, as far as the Night Stalker earlier on, I think that time that he used while he's roaming for the last 2 kills that he was involved in would have been better spent farming. He is currently only at 26 CS, which at about 10 minutes in is really lackluster. They jump
However, Primal Split to go. They're going to try to bring down fire. The cooldown is there, trying to finish off something in exchange, but Blue Banana could potentially go down here. They lose the Earthshaker. Now thrown up into the air. This could be a very dead Blue Banana. All it'll take is one more boulder. Does have the damage. The right clicks. Are they enough? Yes, they damn well are, and it's a double kill the way of Afterlife, and he's going to need to get the hell out of dodge now. Blink away, and he's safe. But if I get ever a chance to say what I was going, or is he safe? Mystic Flare going to drop, and damage being thrown into Afterlife, but there's not enough damage there, and AKG could potentially be the target of a turnaround. Do they have the blink? Do they have the Thunderclap? Not even needed, just one big hit of his weapon, and Brewmaster cleans up another. But now, Arrow's going to fly, impacts on Slander. Can they bring down the Vengeful Spirit in time? Seems they can. Sunstrike will miss, unfortunately, and it's got another kill going the way of HEHE United, 10-9 now, and the aggression is picking up. We're near 2 kills a minute, near that golden number that I love to see.
Yeah, it's just an absolute slugfest coming out from both of these teams. Yeah, Brewmaster, he was left pretty much untouched in the top lane, which is why he was able to get that much farm. Even though he died early on in lane, he's at the top of the CS chart and also of the net worth. And now in mid, we might have another jump in, although the Crystal Maiden is currently solo and needs to be careful. Fisher could spell her demise.
Very true, and she's going to have to respect that. But Arrow's going to fly in, going to impact the creep. This time saves the CM's life in some ways, but Fisher might be enough. Are they going to go aggressive off the back of this one? No, they're just going to clean up the tower, and they're happy at that. And the Earthshaker picks up the gold, to which he's going to be able to buy his Arcane Boots momentarily, but bot lane, well, Afterlife getting what he needs. He was in that safe lane solo role, and now he's developing. He's got 4-1 in terms of kills and deaths, and what can the Brewmaster get next, you reckon? Treads into Aghanim seems to be my thought.
Probably mine as well. He might be forced to build a BKB up against the Fissure Initiation as well as the Silence from the Scarlet Mage, just so he can guarantee get off that split. But either just tanking up with the Aghanims or going for the BKB, I feel, is probably your most likely choice of items. Nightstalker's item choice is a little bit more interesting. He's going for the Aghanim Scepter. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan. We'll see. He's going to have his nighttime. This is go time for Nightstalker. He needs to make something happen now.
I'd completely agree. And the Nightstalker, I'll come to the Venomancer in a moment, but the Nightstalker, he, in my mind, if he's off the map during nighttime, it puts the fear of death in the side of HEHE. Sure, he doesn't get much if he's just rotating around the map looking for kills in terms of farm, but it makes the entire enemy lineup think, do we really want to go forward where a Nightstalker could potentially get us? It's one of the things I do love about him, the just psychological effect of a Nightstalker pick.
And usually that's one of the bigger ones. We do have a ward drop behind the tier 1 tower. Sqreen canceled his auto attack, so not to give their position away. And Skywrath Mage, he's going to TP towards mid, and they might be able to find a kill up in top lane if they line up the Vengeful Spirit stun. Thinkfire is going to run right into this, and now Magic Missile, they have a Sunstrike on top. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he should go down to this one, but in comes the Echo Slam, the potential turnaround. It's a 2-for-1 trade, double kill going the way of fire. Not what we expect in the slightest, and now Nubik eating a stun as well, eats the long-range arrow, and that will be another kill on the Nightstalker. That's a 3-for-1 trade on the back of the so make that 4-for-1. Now looking for the Brewmaster, this could be a big kill, but Primal Split's going to come in on the back foot. They're going to go onto Chip, and if they can bring him out, no, it's going to be a change of mind. They're going to go onto Blue Banana instead. That make that a 4-for-2 trade, and Brewmaster at this point should just decide to get the hell out of dodge to avoid a full 5-man wipe, but going to turn around, throw a boulder just for the sake of using it, and just some good overall positioning. But an arrow does impact on Afterlife just as it ends, and this will be a kill. Make that a 2-for-5 potentially. Yep, 2-for-5 in favor of HEHE United.
Okay, the two big plays there were that arrow at the very end was absolutely sick coming out from the Mirana, perfectly timed. I'm not sure if he has like that timer written down or something, or just he has really good game sense, but that was on the money.
That was perfect. That was pitch perfect.
And as far as the other big play, it was really Sqreen Squad setting them up for failure as they grouped up around that Earthshaker. Usually Echo Slam's not that big of a deal this early on, but they wanted to get that kill on the Earthshaker secured, so they all just kind of hugged him, and he got a 4-man Echo Slam. So despite him dying, he picked up 2 kills almost instantly, and then set up the rest of that fight, securing a team wipe for 2 trade for HEHE.
I completely agree, and there was something I wanted to mention before this entire fight kicked off. I'm going to bring up the Venomancer quickly. Now, he's got himself a Veil of Discord. Such an underrated item, but you consider how much damage over time this Venomancer does. That Veil of Discord is just going to amplify everything. It also helps the Earthshaker, the Skywrath Mage, the Mirana. They all love the Venomancer just for picking up this one item.
And not to mention Blue Banana with that call down as well as Rocket Barrage, and he's maxing out Missile on top of that, which I absolutely love. He's going to be doing so much damage with that Veil. I mean, as you've already mentioned, it's ridiculous.
Indeed, it damn well is. And Veil of Discord, such an underrated item. I really wish I saw it more. It's like a pipe. We don't see pipe as much as we used to, if you think about it. A couple of years back, it was every game, mech and pipe. You don't see a pipe every game these days, and equally, the Veil of Discord has that same strength. It is a huge tool. Sure, I'd say it's more of a situational one depending on the lineups, but you cannot underestimate the strength that a Veil provides.
Yeah, he is going to be giving up a little bit of the mana sustain, especially since Earthshaker doesn't have power treads, so I might have liked him picking up Arcanes before going into the Veil, but now that he has the 1,000 gold to spend on the Arcanes, I definitely think he should get those for his team, as they have none. Yeah, so I think that's probably going to be his next choice. And then in the Aghanim Scepter, if you have an Aghanim's level 2 ultimate, that's an even more ridiculous amount of magical damage.
I'd completely agree, and let's just, while we've got the pause, we may as well, let's do some quick napkin math, since it seems the Sqreen Squad need a little bit of, actually not Sqreen Squad, the HEHE United Squad need a little bit of time. Poison Nova, level 2, the Scepter damage, 81 a tick for 15 seconds, yeah? So, 81 times 15. Then amplify that by 25%. Of course, you have to take away the 25% magic resistance that they have innately, so it's basically 0. What's 81 times 15? Napkin math says a lot.
About 1,200 or 1,350, I think.
Indeed.
I don't know. Cold Stamp. up top.
Nihis getting caught out of position. Well, the pause was right there, and now you get the cooldown. However, this is going to impact on ZXC as well as Slander, and now comes the potential for a turnaround. Swap onto ZXC to try to buy him time, but the right clicks are there, and Nihis might survive this one. Can the Magic Missile clean up? Yes, it will, but that's still like 2 kills going the way of Blue Banana.
There's your Veil call-down combo coming out from those two. A beautiful cleanup. They thought they cut out the Venomancers. The Mirana actually gets cut out in bottom with the Eul Scepter. They're looking for AKJ as well.
But they will get at least the counter kill onto that Night Stalker. But at the end of the day, across 2 lanes, 3 for 3 trade. Still, however, I will say, Afterlife is doing very well for himself. He's got himself his Blink Back, he's got himself his Treads. He's going to start working on the Aghanims now. And Aghanims on the Brewmaster is an absurdly powerful one. It's up there next to the Ancient Apparition in terms of how much the Aghanims upgrade actually helps.
Yeah, if he does go for the Aghanims and he's silenced up and not able to get off his ultimate, he'll be in a lot of trouble, but just a blink in ult should be enough as he's going to get gone on at bottom.
Gets caught out here by Nihis with the Poison Nova, but Primal Split's going to mitigate pretty much all of that, and he should be completely safe. He's just going to fall back off the back of that Primal Split, otherwise he would potentially die. Then again, we do see that reinitiation coming in with the Night Stalker rotating in the sidelines. They're going to look for Chip, who jumps into the trees and is actually stuck there for now, but Nihis is in a lot of trouble. All it'll take is this damage coming in from the Brewmaster to bring him down, but Moonlight Shadow could buy him time, especially if Nihis holds his attack, and he does so. So, effectively, a null trade. There's nothing there, but Nubik gets potentially caught out of position. The Mystic Flare as well, but it doesn't fully connect, but the last Arcane Bolt will. Double kill going the way of AKG. I'm guessing he was the one who killed the Crystal Maiden in the river? Yes, he was.
Yep, that is correct. And, well, at this point in the game, AKG, he's just doing so much damage with those Arcane Bolts. He's 9-4-3. He's died quite a few times, but as a Scarlet Mage, that's kind of expected. He's hitting like a truck, and now going onto the Brewmaster. He doesn't have a split, even if he gets silenced. I don't think he has enough damage without his ulti, but he'll put a lot of hurt onto him.
Well, the Ancient Seal is, of course, max level. 36% amplification, and Afterlife does take the brunt of that, but we don't have a Mystic Flare available for a few more seconds, and we don't have the mana to support it either. But then again, Haste Rune picked up. He's now bottling up. Can we see a rotation looking for ZXC? Rocket's going to come long range. Could potentially find this, especially with the presence of AKG. Do we have a Dust, though? That's the question. We need Dust. Impacts. Are we going to just see a commit of Mystic Flare for the hell of it? No. They're going to safely retreat and realize they don't have the damage.
Yeah, they might have been able to do it with a double cooldown as well as Mystic Flare, but just such a low probability kill if they went for it, so they won't end in the end.
They honestly needed some Dust, potentially on the Skywrath Mage there. Sure, you generally think of Skywrath Mage as support. It was a core in this game, but still. Dust is required. Now we're getting the rotation up on the top lane. Down goes the Gyrocopter to the Crystal Maiden ult, as well as the rotations from ZXC and Slander. Arrow's going to come long range, though. Doesn't impact anyone. Whiffs past their ears, and now Afterlife could be in a lot of trouble. Thinking about it, he does have Primal Split ready to go. Who do we have to fight here? We've got Skywrath Mage and we've got Chip. AKG and Chip. Is that going to be enough? I don't think it is. But meantime, bot lane, Nubik trying to dive for Nihis, and that's going to be a very hard kill, considering the Night Stalker is so damn slow off the back of the Gale, and the aggression just cannot stay. The Gale and the Veil of Discord were used. He didn't have enough mana to pop the ultimate. Otherwise, that could have potentially been a kill on the Night Stalker. But now we've got that Death Ball forming on that top lane. Blink aggressively. In from fire. Echo Slam going to be the answer here. And they're trying to hold what they can. Swap out onto Afterlife from Slander. But now you get the aggressive Magic Missile looking for something from Slander. Slander will commit his life here. Equally on the back foot of this, the rest of the team will all rotate away. They don't want to risk getting caught out of position. Speaking of being caught out of position, Rocket going to fly through, going to impact onto the Invoker, but he should be well enough and safe at this point in the game.
Yeah, it was just really good focus fire coming out from HEHE, making sure that Brewmaster didn't get his split off. If he'd gotten that off from Afterlife, that fight could have gone completely differently. They had to commit the Echo Slam for it, but definitely worth it coming out a team fight ahead, even though it's not the biggest one.
Now Sqreen, however, in a lot of trouble, eats the Mystic Flare, and that's an easy kill going the way of AKG. What an aggressive turnaround. They look for the tier 1 tower, they completely fail at getting it. And then they lose their Crystal Maiden up in the jungle, they lost their Vengeful Spirit, sure they lost their supports, but it's given them the opportunity to get some pressure onto this tier 2 on the top lane. And if they can build off of that momentum, it could potentially be a huge set of kills, slash the tower being the key one here.
Yeah.
But we do have rotations.
We do have Nubik as well as Afterlife getting into position. They have the split now, and I think you're just going to back off, respecting the power. of Brewmaster at this point in the game before BKB on Gyro.
I'd completely agree. I mean, you cannot underestimate it. I say that so many times about so many heroes, but you honestly cannot ever underestimate the enemy. Doing that is the first step to failure.
Yeah. As far as Invoker's build this game, we were talking about a Midas or a Eul Scepter Necronomicon. He's going to go for something completely different. Feeling he needs to have more of an early game impact and just more utility, he'll go for Power Treads as well as Force Staff. This is okay against the vast amount of damage coming out from HEHE, and well, they might be able to catch him out.
They're going to go into ZXC, but do they have any detection? Not at this point. They don't have any more dust onto Nihis, which they honestly need to fix this problem. That's twice the Invoker has got away from them just with Ghost Walk.
Yeah, I would have thought after the first failed kill that Skywrath Mage would have just said, enough, I'm buying dust, or at least get one of your supports to buy it and have him hold it, because he's the one that's roaming and ganking.
Meantime, however, more rockets will fly out of the gyrocopter. They're going to look for at least some harassment. Afterlife will be taking the brunt of this one, but still, where's the answer? Arrow going to fly in from the side, doesn't impact. Oh, yes, it does. It goes on to Slander. That's a 5-second arrow, but where is the ability to capitalize off the back of this one? In comes the Moonlight Shadow. Concussive Bolt's going to fly through, impact on Afterlife, but they're not going to be able to get any hero. So maybe a little bit overzealous on the trigger finger for Moonlight Shadow there.
Potentially. We are going to have a Skywrath Mage bottling up the double damage rune. Now it's Night Stalker's time to shine yet again, although the last night was very lackluster for him. 4, 5, and 3 on the Night Stalker. This is really not where you want him at this point in the game.
Primal split bot lane onto Nihis, but the Sunstrike's going to completely miss. Nihis turns around, but he's stuck in the trees now. He has no hope of getting out of this one with the Cold Snap, and they're going to commit. In comes the cooldown from the Gyrocopter. They're going to try to turn on this one, but thrown into the air by the Storm Panda. Can they find anything else? Chip tries to come in from the side. He's going to take the focus fire from the Night Stalker, but in comes Afterlife, and he will finish off the Gyrocopter. So maybe trying to save the Venomancer was a little overzealous as well. We get the arrow to fly in, going to impact on Nubic, but where's the rotation in? Sqreen is there. He wants to hit the slow, does do so, but can Chip escape this one? Not a damn chance. In comes the Thunderclap from Afterlife, as well as the Void from Night Stalker, and that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah, Gyrocopter, had he had a BKB, maybe that would have been a good turn from them, but without it, he just fell too quickly. Now that's going to be a tier 2 tower, or tier 1, excuse me, going the way of Sqreen Squad on top of that. He backed off for a lot of cost-effective items, the drums, Aquila, and Phase before he finished off the BKB. I would be inclined to agree, or believe that if he backed off and didn't finish up the drums or didn't finish up the Aquila, that fight would have went differently for them.
I would completely agree, and I'm being flamed out a bit by chat, apparently. I've been calling AKG the entire game because a bit at the end of his name. Apparently it's HWA, so my bad on that one. But nonetheless...
It's hard to read that HWA, to be fair. Like, that's a very weird font.
I can read it, but when you've got just your name being 3 letters and you've got 2 sets of 3 letters, it's awkward. But Nubic will take the brunt of a Mystic Flare. Will they be able to chase down any of this? They want to try to bring down HWA, but Yules to keep the Night Stalker at distance for now. Where's the rotation? Where is the support? In comes Gyrocopter. Blue Banana wants to fight. Rocket's going to fly. This is going to get a good distance on its travel time, so the damage will be there, but is it going to be able to get on target in time? HWA wants to try to get in. The Urn, however, is healing up far too far. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough, and the damage, it does a good amount, but now we get the turnaround from ZXC. They want to try to kill Blue Banana, but in comes the call down onto the full lineup near enough of the Dire side on this top lane, but now we get the primal split income. Turn around, they're looking for HWA. Do they have any detection? No, they damn well don't. No detection from either side at this point, and it's a 2-for-1 trade so far in favor of HEHE. TP out. HWA cannot escape though. The Void is there in time, and they're going to bring down the Skywrath Mage off the back of that one. 719 gold in the Night Stalker's pocket.
Yeah, both teams have one set of sentries between them. In fact, exactly one sentry between them. It's absolutely ridiculous. When you have Mirana Ultimate as well as Ghost Rock, there's no reason not to have... Oh, yeah.
Slander and ZXC, they're getting caught out here, but Fire is in the tree line. Do we have the Echo Slam ready to go? Yes, we do. Are we going to use it? Yes, we are. ZXC going to be the focus here. One more right click. Not enough. Swap around, but in comes the Poison Nova. Slander taking huge amounts of damage. Afterlife rotating in as well. A couple of crits from him could kill anyone, but Void is going to be enough to bring down the Venomancer. Now on the back lines, we do have a lose the VS to the, I believe, Mirana. Or, no, that was just the dots of the Venomancer. But now Nubic chasing down. He wants to try to find anyone else. Blink Dagger picked up on the Invoker. And honestly, that's going to be the end of the aggression here on his bottom lane. But nonetheless, we have items coming online. Big items.
Yeah, the Blink Dagger on the Invoker, one of the bigger ones. We have completed Power Treads on your Vengeful Spirit, so tanking up a little bit. He's going to go straight for the Aghanim Scepter after a casual chainmail in his inventory with the Ogre Club. It looks like BKB status on our gyrocopter is not completed yet again. It's just been delayed so much. But as for our Brewmaster, he is going to back off for the BKB completed, and this will make sure that what happened in top lane will not happen again. So he doesn't get locked down and stopping the Primal Split. Even though Aghanim Scepter is wonderful, if you're not able to use the ultimate, it doesn't matter, as, well, they might go Nubic in mid.
Well, they could go on Nubic, but I don't think so. He's going to be far enough back. I mean, the Rocket's going to do some damage, but they're going to defend at the tier 2. They've got Afterlife here. You mentioned the BKB. Completely the right choice in my mind, considering the number of times we've seen it cancelled out, and now he's going to go aggressive. BKB used, going to completely remove the ability for Fisher, as well as a Deafening Blast as well. They're going to chase down. They want Blue Banana. Arrow's going to impact on the Storm Panda, and it'll only take a little bit more damage. Nubic is there as well and will clean up the damn kill. Now comes the chase. They're going to look for fire. Pings go out on him, though. In comes the BKB from the Night Stalker. They're going to look for Nihis, and they'll bring him down in time. Does he have a Poison Nova? No, he does not, for 26 seconds, so he's going to fall here. Now they're going to look for potentially fire, or they can find the Mirana, but no, they'll be able to bring down at least the Vengeful Spirit in exchange. So 2 for 1 off the back of this one. Long range arrow is going to impact, however, onto Sqreen, and now we have the repel here. Can they force back the full side of Sqreen squad? It's going to be a big one, and to get the Fisher onto 2. Where's the follow-up, though? They're not going to be able to. They don't have the Echo Slam. They don't have the damage at this point in the game. They need their Gyrocopter. They need their Venomancer. These are their big cores. The Mirana, sure, she's a core, but she really hasn't got much in this game. She's more of a support than a core. She is a support, not a core. We've got AKG being the core. Yeah,
a little bit of a role reversal here from the heroes that we're used to seeing. Support Mirana, she's been on point with her arrows, and I definitely think it's worked out for them up until now. But we're not going to be seeing that semi-carry late-game Mirana, as she doesn't even have upgraded boots yet.
No, she does not, and she's getting good arrows, but she's still not being able to get the gold from them because she's falling in these team fights. But then again, Aegis now going the way of Sqreen squad. It goes on to Nubic, so very good advantage here for Sqreen squad at this point in the game. And off the back of the levels of aggressions we have seen, what do you think is going to be the next big fight? Where's the next fight going to take place, Grandis?
I'm going to expect tier 2 tower down in bottom lane, but it looks like HEHE are not going to wait for this. They're going to make a little bit of an aggressive move in mid of their own. Grouping up while it's nighttime is always nice up against the Night Stalker, so he's not able to get those solo pickoffs on your squishy supports.
I'd completely agree, and we do see the line drawn there by Sqreen, and maybe rotating on this mid lane, maybe loop around the back lines, but from where we stand right now, this could be a very easy push here for HEHE. They need some more rotation. Speaking of rotation, Slander is coming near the back lines, and HWA pauses for a second. Apparently we've got maybe lag. I'm not actually sure at this point.
They've had some pretty consistent issues with TeamSpeak, I think, but a very unfortunate time for a pause as we're gearing up for this fight in mid.
Yeah. I believe they're using Skype, not TeamSpeak, from what they were saying earlier, so I can understand issues. Skype isn't exactly the most reliable tool.
No, it's not. Can be finicky at times. Chips shot an arrow. I don't think that's going to land into anything unless, I don't know, Afterlife decides to blink into it of his own volition, but yeah. It's just going to be a standoff. We have a TP support, or no TP on the Night Stalker, which is unfortunate, but with the Hunter of the Night, he'll be able to run towards mid pretty quickly. We also don't have the Invoker and Vengeful Spirit in position, so maybe HEHE are going to be able to take this tower without much of a big commitment. They'll be able to delay things with the Brewmaster ultimate, and maybe they'll give them enough time in order to get everybody in the proper places for the fight.
I'd completely agree, and there is no TP scroll available for that Night Stalker either, so that's going to be a big detriment here. But they need the rotation, and they need to defend their tier 2s. If tier 2s are falling with no contest, it's a big problem in my mind for Sqreen squad. And sure, they may have a little bit of an edge in team fights, but it's up to HEHE now to take advantage of this. Arrow's going to fly, does impact on Sqreen, but in comes the Brewmaster looking for a big cooldown as well from Blue Banana. But now where's the turnaround? They're going to go straight onto spoiler alert. Nihis on that Venomancer, but he does get the Poison Nova off in the meantime, and they lose the Gyrocopter on the meantime on this backline. Now ZXC going to be chipping some damage into Chip, but under the Moonlight Shadow, he should be safe. In the meantime, backlines of this fight, HWA will be the focus from Nubic, and down he goes to the Thunderclap of Afterlife. Double kill up for the Brewmaster.
4-for-1, big wraparound coming out from Sqreen Squad, going to divide a lot of the attention coming out from HEHE. That fight kind of broke out on two different fronts, the front and the back. There was a BKB in the gyrocopter, which was all fine and good to keep him alive from the Brewmaster, but his cooldown did almost nothing in that fight, and without any damage items, despite having good levels up and everything, his flat cannon wasn't able to do enough. He really wants an MKB on top of his items at this point. But it's just not happening. Now it's going to be Sqreen Squad turn to put some pressure onto the tier 2.
Indeed, and I think they'll have a much more comfortable time doing so. Sure, the 4-hero kill advantage does help, but when you consider what Sqreen Squad actually have, Blink Dagger going to be building towards a sheepstick for ZXC, Afterlife has his BKB and his Blink Dagger, but we do get fire initiating with a big Heckle Slam. Cooldown as well. Can they get anything off the back of this? Can they kill Afterlife in time? I don't think they can. In comes the BKB and the turnaround. Can they bring down Blue Banana in exchange? I think so, and the arrow's going to impact on a Forge Spirit, but Sqreen comes in, gets a big Crystal Nova off, and managing to bring down the Gyrocopter. Equally though, that tower will fall to the Forge Spirits of the Invoker, which is going to help him. Sqreen will not escape this one, not considering the damage out of that Skywrath Mage. That Mystic Flare does such a staggeringly large amount at level 3. I believe it's 1,200 over the duration? 1,400.
Yeah, way too much for Crystal Maiden to deal with, especially when it's amplified by the Ancient Seal. Not a chance.
Not a chance, and not only Ancient Seal, there is also that Veil of Discord as well. Not used in that fight, but amplification cannot be underestimated. But Pinks now go out onto Chip. They realise, Mirana's being a little aggressive with that warding there, and Chip's going to be forced back. What else can we find off the back of that, though? Can we see any objective for either of these teams falling anytime soon? I don't think we will. There's going to be a bit of a stand down in terms of aggression in my mind. You've got Nihis pushing out this spot lane, you've got mid lane contested, and you've got equally Fire pushing out the top lane. And I'm actually going to bring up Fire for a moment. He's got his Blink Dagger, he's got his Treads. He didn't go for the all-important Arcanes, since his team have enough in terms of that. But what do we see next for him? And is he going to be able to retain his gold, considering Blink in from ZXC, looking for Blue Banana, does find him, but Fisher lands. Now we get the cooldown. Damage coming in from Blue Banana. Is it enough? I don't think it is. This BKB is going to go down, and now we get all the BKBs from the dire side. Afterlife comes in. Primal Split is there. They need the detection, though. Where is the detection? They will bring down the Skywrath Mage off the back of that one, and Blue Banana hiding in the trees, not enough to escape. Eats a Meteor to the face, and Nubik will clean up the kill. Everyone forced back into the Radiant base. Equally, though, Chips taking a large chunk of damage through from the Brewmaster, and he's not going to be able to survive this one, surely. But a Fisher does delay Afterlife, considering the split ends at an inopportune time. Now the Poison Nova as well. Lots of damage going the way of Nubik. Can he survive that one? The Nova ticking down, and he's going to be forcing Nihis back into his base. Will they be able to bring down the Venomancer in exchange? I don't think so. Aegis popped. Echo Slam to come in as well, looking for Slander. They're going to hit him with a couple more right clicks. Could bring him down, but no, Fire will fall. The Crystal Nova, far too much damage, as well as the VS falling, however, to the Arcane Bolts of this Skywrath Mage. And now comes the turn on HW8 in a lot of trouble. Nubik going aggressive. A couple of right clicks, but a Yule Scepter will stop that. Slow coming through from the Crystal Maiden. That's not your base, guys. You're going to continue charging though. They want to bring him down. The Void, not enough. Now we get the turnaround. The slow is there. Veil of Discord popped. Do we have a Mystic Flare? In 2 seconds. 1 second. Yes, we do. Is it enough? Yes, it is. 4-for-2 trade in favor of HEHE United.
Yeah, before the actual last dive coming out from Sqreen Squad, they got a couple more, so it's decently even. I don't know. Still, that last bit was a convincing win in the favor of Sqreen Squad. And yeah, the Night Stalker, he had the gem throughout that whole fight, so that was your detection against the Moonlight Shadow, and with his Ags as well, that's pretty big, but he just lost his gem inside the enemy base. Who's holding on to that one for now? It is the Venomancer who's got that, so now they won't need the dust for the Invoker anymore. I don't think that's going to be a big deal, but still, the map control is going to start coming out from Sqreen Squad because of the very aggressive dive of the Crystal Maiden as well as Night Stalker.
Yeah, and once again, I may have forgotten to switch off of Last and Eyes. That's what we get when we get an aggressive game. I'm paying attention more to the heroes than the graphs I've got shown. And speaking of graphs, net worth top 3 all belong to the dire side, to Sqreen Squad. Graph-wise, only a under a 5k lead even in favor of Sqreen Squad, and experience-wise though 10k lead.
Yeah, the experience is really where this game is showing the biggest differential. The items, although the top 3 are from Sqreen Squad, HEHE have a decent amount of farm distribution on their lower end, with Earthshaker picking up the slack with the Blink Dagger, and now whatever he wants to build with that 1600 gold.
1600 gold though. Still, either way, Where do we stand? We've got all members alive again. We almost have all ultimates online. Echo Slam, 5 seconds away. We've now got the Crystal Nova back online. This is going to be a train wreck again, I believe. We've got that level of aggression once more from these two teams. I honestly don't know where the next fight's going to kick off. I mean, we've seen so much back and forth. We've seen Sqreen Squad take a fight, look to push, and then lose at the base. We've seen HEHE United push in and get picked off. It's an absolute clusterbuck. I have no words for it. And now we've got even a basher up for the Night Stalker.
Yeah, Night Stalker just got a whole lot scarier. That's his first major damage item, and this is going to make him a lot more relevant, especially up against the BKB from the Gyrocopter. Holding him in place is going to be so important if they're able to focus him down. He's not very tanky, and I don't know. Right now, it's very scary for HEHE. Is with that Aghanim Scepter, everybody's vision is so reduced. I mean, if you just take a look at what vision they actually do have, it's so little. Like, the heroes are blind to it. Now the Night Stalker is coming barreling into the enemy jungle. Let's see if he's going to find a pick.
ZXC could be looking for Blue Banana, but equally you did mention the Night Stalker. He does see Chip Sajin at this point, and he will be the target here. But Fire nearby as well. Can he defend against this damage from the Night Stalker? I don't think he can. Just completely destroyed there. Now you get Primal Split coming in. Fire, TP gets interrupted, and that's going to be 2 easy kills going the way of Sqreen Squad.
Yeah, they had to commit their Brewmaster ultimate, but still a huge win for them in mid lane. Those supports just don't stand a chance to Night Stalker. Once he comes running at you with his BKB available, they didn't have the backup that they needed from their Gyrocopter. Now they're looking for more. Blue Banana, he's probably going to be forced to pop the BKB here if he wants to survive. Brewmaster is back out of there, so Night Stalker is going to be repelled for now, which is unfortunate that the Earth Panda wasn't along with the Night Stalker. But still, they're boxing in HEHE after that last engage.
Not only are they boxing in HEHE after the last engage, they've completely removed any sentiment of map control, as you mentioned. Now they're starting to just bring down heroes, just kill after kill, and this has bought them perfect time. Roshan is going to be available in about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes at most, and this is exact timing that they need to start boxing him in. It gives them such control over this entire game, and Tier 2 bot lane will be the order of business here for ZXC and the rest of Sqreen Squad. It's only a matter of time before this falls, but then again, Moonlight Shadow. We have the potential for turnaround here. Nihis can come forward, but they're going to reveal all of their intentions considering that concussive shot missed. Arrow going to fly in from the side though. Does impact Nubik at long range, and they can go for the kill on this. In comes the cooldown. In the meantime, backside of the fight though, in comes Afterlife. Now he doesn't have a Primal Split, but he is chopping heroes to pieces with his BKB up. Doing good right click, but where is the Poison Nova? Was it even used? He doesn't have enough mana for it, and that's a big problem. Fire goes down, and now you've got Nubik just getting in the face of HEHE United. And this is they flat out require Poison Nova for a fight like that, and the Tier 2 tower does go down in favour of Sqreen Squad at this point in. And I should think, yes, the Venomancer desperately trying to get some mana up, and he needs to be able to come to this fight with that full Poison Nova combo ready to go. And we get a Primal Split in the base trying to force this back, but in comes that Poison Nova. Gets some good damage onto Nubik, and Nubik is falling rapidly to no less. But Echo Slam as well will clean up 1, 2, make that 3 with that Fissure. Now looking just for 2 remaining. Down goes the Crystal Maiden to that Mystic Flare, and the last one still standing is Afterlife. Going to survive a little bit longer because of his base evasion, but it does not matter. Call down to deal with this.
Full 5-man wipe in the favor of HEHE United. As poorly as that first engagement over by the Tier 2 went for them, because of Venomancer not having the ultimate when they have that, that's a level 3 Aghanim's ultimate Venomancer. And we did the napkin math for the level 2 with Ags, and, well, level 3 is just that much worse. And it really came to bite Sqreen Squad in the behind there, as without an Aegis on their Night Stalker, he was their main damage dealer, and they didn't have him after that. Brewmaster had his split at coming off of cooldown at the end of that, but he was just left alone after everybody else got picked.
I completely agree. And you mentioned the napkin math. It's 108 damage over every second for 16 seconds. Let's do the napkin math on that while Roshan's going on, shall we? That's a staggeringly large amount of damage. I don't even want to do the math on that. That's going to give me a headache. But nonetheless, seems it's going to be Roshan time, and if this goes the way of HEHE United, that can be such a big advantage. I can't see anyone from Sqreen Squad wanting to defend this. Sure, they have some pretty good pit fighters, the Brewmaster, the Crystal Maiden. They're not going to be able to get here anywhere near in time, and Arrow's even going to fly in. What did it impact on? It said, I heard the word perfect. It went on to Slander, and he's forced back and repelled. And HWA will be carrying the Aegis as well, so Skywrath Mage with that. And considering he is a lot of the damage currently for HEHE United, it does not surprise me.
Yeah, if the Gyrocopter had his completed MKB there, maybe you give him the Aegis, but especially with a Bloodstone on your Scarlet Mage, you don't want him dying in the next fight so you can secure those extra charges. And the sustained damage that he'll be able to put out with a completely new mana pool, especially with a 20-second cooldown on his ultimate, will be insane if he's able to get that off. So I definitely like the choice of giving your Aegis to the Skywrath Mage. And before that last fight, we saw a lot of big items coming out from... Sqreen squad with the AC picked up by the Brewmaster, as well as like the Scythe was completed some time ago for the Invoker, but now it's HEHE's turn to pick up those big items, as the MKB is getting closer for the Gyrocopter, which is going to be huge up against the Brew, as well as that Bloodstone on the Scarlet Mage.
Indeed, and those big items are certainly going to help, but let's take a look at the grander scale of things. Let's take a look at the graphs. That's a 0 gold differential. That was near a 10k gold lead to a 5k swing in favour of Sqreen squad, now back to 0. Talk about back and forth, talk about up and down. The graphs show the whole story, and we're even approaching that in terms of experience as well, off of the back of that 5-man wipe. You cannot underestimate these teams. This game is still so damn close. 40 minutes in, this could still go either way. And it's very rare that we can say that at 40 minutes in.
Yeah, usually late game situation for HEHE would be very favorable for them with the Gyrocopter, but he doesn't have enough items to really be that like 1v5 threat. You'd want to see like a Butterfly or Satanic on top of what he has. But still, it could be anybody's game. As you said, it's very exciting to watch. These fights are just so back and forth, and the experience advantage after that last engagement for HEHE is ridiculous. That's almost a 12,000 experience swing.
Indeed it is, and it might even be more on the back of this one. You got ZXC being very aggressive, using his Blink Dagger, going to high ground. They were looking for Nihis, and that would have been a very big kill if they can bring down the Venomancer. And, well, what more can this Venomancer go for at this point? Could he go for a Shiva's Guard? He's got Nubik chasing him. Shiva's Guard would very much help in this situation, but he's slowed out. Where's the rotation? There is no one from the entire Radiant side that can be here to defend this, so Nihis will go down. Gem trading hands once more. Very, very detrimental here for HEHE United, and this could be the opening that Sqreen Squad need to push into the base off of that.
Both teams do have their gems, as there is one inside the HEHE United base. But yeah, Venomancer, he might be forced to buy back here. He has the gold because he was sitting on so much, presumably towards his next bid item of the Shiva's Guard. But that will be delayed if he decides to buy back, and I think he might have to. Without the Poison Nova, that's a lot of their damage that they're going to need. Ultimate pop by the Night Stalker. The vision is just so scary, and Scarlet Mage just straight up backs out of there. He wants none of it, even though they're nowhere close.
Well, I'm going to bring up the buyback status just so we can see the grand scheme of things to how we stand in all of these fights. Only 3 heroes have a buyback. You've got a buyback on your Night Stalker, your Venomancer, and your Mirana. You're going to need something more to be able to hold that now, considering you lose your Venomancer's buyback and you're in a very bad situation. But they're not pressuring this. They're not going into the base. So arrow's going to fly. Going to impact on ZXC, actually. And could we see a potential turnaround here? Mystic Flare as well. Is this enough? I don't think so. They need another Mystic Flare. But then again, Fisher comes in from the sideline. Hex, however, will be enough to at least delay the Invoker's death for at least a second or two longer. But now 70 seconds on the respawn time of this Invoker. Is it going to force the Invoker's buyback?
Swap on Gyrocopter inside the jungle.
Now, in the meantime, Slander will take the bulk of the damage, but in comes the Mystic Flare. They bring down the Gyrocopter, but where is the response? Where is the answer to this? Drum being popped, Nubik chasing down HWA potentially, but HWA wants none of this. He's well enough away, and he still does have that all-important Aegis of Immortality.
Yeah, Night Stalker holding onto the Abyssal Blade completed now. Although they lost their Vengeful Spirit to get the pick off on the Gyrocopter, definitely worth it, and although they lost their Invoker on the sidelines, that was kind of unavoidable, and I won't count that as the same fight. But still, anybody's game. That last 2 little skirmishes we saw don't change a thing. Nobody's able to put any pressure on high ground because of it. Both teams have a Vlad's now, which I absolutely love, seeing the Vlad's on the Mirana. Even though they don't have anybody that's going to benefit from lifesteal, that extra 15 or so damage on the Gyrocopter and all of the extra armor is just going to be so huge for them. He sells it and then buys it again. I think you should hold on to that one. Speaking of Vlad's, Brewmaster has one for his team, and I think that's crucial for the Night Stalker to get that extra lifesteal, but I would have liked to see the Venge or the Crystal Maiden pick that one up, although they're too poor at the moment.
I would completely agree on the topic of Vlad's. Vlad's is such a powerful item. Sure, the more melee heroes you have, the better it is, but the armor cannot be understated. It's the mechanical side of the game. The stats that some people tend to overlook, armor is one of those key ones, and just if we take a quick look at the armor across the board here, you've got 29 armor on the Venomancer. You've got well, what is 13 armor on chip in exchange on that Mirana. You can see how much armor is going to help this lineup. Equally, you got 4 armor on the Skywrath Mage.
+5 with the Vlads, though, so he'll be sitting at a respectable 9, which is really why that's so important, because the Skywrath Mage will be ripped to shreds by the Night Stalker. That Vlads could give him a couple of extra seconds to get off him more arcane bolts, as well as an ultimate, which could be pivotal in a team fight.
I completely agree. Armor is something that a lot of players underestimate, and you've got to consider the napkin math for effective HP a lot of the time. Have you got 1800 health? If yes, then evasion becomes worthwhile. I think it's around 1300 where armor can start to be more valuable. I have to actually look that one up since I can't remember the exact math to it. If I have my stats man with me, I could just poke him, but I know for a fact it's 1800 for evasion in terms of effective HP.
Yeah, and most of these heroes do have quite a bit of HP. The Mirana really the weakest link in that department with only 1200. But really, she's not there for much more than the Arrow and the Moonlight Shadow, as well as offering the Vlad. She's just going to sit on the back lines, force-staff people when necessary, and not really going to be a frontline right-clicker that we usually see out of her Miranas at this point in the game.
Indeed, and honestly, she was played as a support from the get-go. It's honestly a good position for her to be in. She already has Vlad, she's got a 4-staff, she's not had the best in terms of net worth or farm. She's got 7,600 net worth, and in terms of CS, how much does she actually have? 36. Bottom of the board. So it's understandable why she's that far behind. But nonetheless, top 3 carries now, all above 15,000, all belong to the side of Sqreen squad. Equally though, not far behind that Venomancer, as well as the Gyrocopter and that Skywrath Mage. The more time HEHE United get here, the bigger chance of a comeback we could see. But nonetheless, now we get the initiation onto HWA. They were hiding, they were waiting, the ninja tactics are there, but can he escape this? I don't think he can. Are we going to get the Mystic Flare dropped as well? No, we're not. They're even going to commit a little bit of the Crystal Nova to try to hold this one, and a TP away by Sqreen, but that should just be an easy kill. They get one Skywrath Mage, and now they can start to exert their pressure, potentially the mid lane, potentially the bot lane, both being pushed in by respective heroes.
Yeah. I mean, despite using the freezing field of the Crystal Maiden, it's going to delay for a little bit longer, but at max level, the cooldown isn't that significant at 90 seconds, so not really going to cost Sqreen Squad anything, and picking off one of the cores like that is absolutely pivotal. Although they don't know it, he doesn't have buyback. Still, with Bloodstone, he'll be back soon enough.
Indeed, and it's sort of a worthwhile trade when you consider how much that Sqreen Squad got out of this one, as I had trouble finding my words, but nonetheless. Forces the Bloodstone charges down to 6, below the starting number, which is exactly where you want it to be. When they buy a Bloodstone, you'd never want them to be gaining charges. You want to punish them the second they get it. And sure, he's had the Bloodstone a while, but nonetheless, shuts down the Skywrath at least for a little bit, gives some time and space to the Night Stalker, as well as the Brewmaster. Speaking of Brewmaster, has his AC now. And item-wise on the Invoker, a Scythe of Vice, which he's had for a good amount of time. I'm wondering what we're going to see next up for him.
For the Invoker at this point in the game, I would love to see a Refresher Orb. Double Scythe, double BKB, as well as a double combo coming out for him could be really solid. Although I'm not sure how he feels he'll need. First and foremost, he needs to save for buyback.
I'll agree. Without buyback, he is pretty much food at this point. And I could agree with you. I would very much like to see a Refresher Invoker. That would be, well, refreshing, pun intended. But nonetheless, with the Aegis going the way of Sqreen Squad, we can see the aggression. We've got the Abyssal Blade up for Nubik, and if he can get any level of kill with that Abyssal Blade, we could be in for one hell of an aggressive fight.
Yeah. The farm on Sqreen Squad is pretty top-heavy, and they've been able to secure Roshan after Roshan. Although the last one was given to HEHE, this one is arguably more important. Later portions in the game, the Aegis is pivotal, and now it's also going to be a cheese onto Afterlife. It's going to be unlikely that they'll be able to kill him before he gets his ultimate off, and even without his ultimate, he's still right-clicking pretty hard if he crits.
Indeed, and the crit will be the key thing. But comes the question of who's going to get the edge in this next fight. Now, arrows are going to fly as well. Where did we heard an arrow? Where was it going? It was going towards Afterlife, but they're going to even commit the Mystic Flare. They're not going to be able to get anything off the back of that. They're just slow sieging the base at this point.
Yeah, Mystic Flare.
Mystic Flare being used, though, isn't a big problem, I think, yeah, considering the short cooldown a bit at this point. But my opinion is, if HEHE can take a good fight inside their base, they can potentially get a Rax on the board for themselves, if they can at least get 3, maybe 4 members of Sqreen Squad down.
Yeah, the hero to watch in this high ground defense coming out from them is the Earthshaker, played by Fire. If he gets an Echo Slam onto 3 or more targets, that could be the fight won. Arrow fishing, not going to find anybody.
Goes straight past Nubik's ear, and they do get the Fisher doing some good damage to Nubik, but now we get the swap. Slander brings back Nihis, and that's a very dangerous swap considering, but look at those 4 staffs, bringing him right back to the base. Now we get the BKB. Do we get the turnaround? Not quite, and no kills for no kills as we stand right now, but no ults were committed either, and equally though, Nihis did not have the mana to use the Venomous Nova there, Poison Nova. They needed something to trigger that, but then they may have been able to get a kill, but just poking and prodding at each other right now, and they can't seem to succeed in getting a kill anywhere.
Yeah, and I don't like his boots choice in the Tranquil boots. He picked them up so late, and honestly, he doesn't need the armor with the mech as well as Veil. He's already pretty stacked in that department, and the Arcane boots, time and time again, would have secured him that little bit of extra mana they needs. He wants to be spamming out those Plague Wards as well as the Gale whenever he can. So I think just getting those Arcane boots earlier on would have helped him, and even as a later choice, it's going to be very important. But Shiva's Guard would completely negate that. He won't be able to get that farm, however, since he is kind of lagging behind. Let's see. Nothing on the courier. Yeah, he needs to save for buyback before he thinks about it.
I'd completely agree. Buyback is so important at this point, and we can see buybacks coming online. Arrow's going to fly. Unfortunately, goes past Afterlife's ear, and he should be safe. He's just going to fall back and farm this up. And buybacks-wise, Earthshaker, Crystal Maiden, Mirana, and Vengeful Spirit, no buybacks across the board, but they are, of course, the supports in this game. It is the cores that we care about the most. Every core in this game has that all-important buyback, and I cannot stress how important that will be in the next fight. The next fight, when it kicks off, could be like 2 trains crashing together at 60 to 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, after such an aggressive early start, and we're still at a ridiculous amount of kills per minute. Oh, they tag Sqreen with an arrow.
And the Fisher will fly as well, but now in comes the Echo, goes on 2. Now we get the Mystic Flare. Slander's going to be the main focus here, but 4 stuffs away. They're trying to protect their Earthshaker, give him some time and space, but he's out of there, for now at least, under the Moonlight Shadow. But now we get the turnaround. They're going to go on to Nihis. The Primal Split is there as well, but in comes the Nova. Now they need more off the back of this one, but they lose the Venomancer. Does he buy back immediately? No, he doesn't, but it's a double kill the way of Nubik, and a double kill equally for HWA. This Skywrath Mage equally answering the call whenever they can, and ZXC will potentially go down here if Blue Banana can get a right click off, and will successfully do so. But now you've got Blue Banana just up against Afterlife, and Afterlife wins that one. Meantime, back foot of this fight, Nubik did force the Aegis used off the back of the Poison Nova, and well, we just get a stand down in terms of aggression. 3 for 3. Brewmaster and Nightstalker versus Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker.
Yeah, that's going to be the showdown if they choose to go for it. Without the ultimate on the Brewmaster over for another 56 seconds, they might not go for it. With the ultimate on Nubik, he's dropped down to half. I don't think they'll be able to commit to this fully.
Nor do I. It's going to be a very rough one if they try, but they're going to go into Afterlife at least, force him back with an Enchant Totem, and still, Sqreen Squad are commit to bringing down this tower. We have 3 buybacks ready to go for HEHE United. They can come back with a vengeance if they want to, but I think Sqreen Squad are all very much aware of this, and they're just going to TP away. They don't want to risk this, but equally important items coming online. Manta Style for Brewmaster. Not something I've ever actually seen him buy, but it does remove the silence.
That's exactly what he wants it to do, because at this point in the game, the BKB duration is not very impressive. With only 5 seconds, he might not have that available when he wants to split, so being able to Manta out of that Ancient Seal is going to be very important. Which is why he's picking it up. Although an unconventional choice, I quite like it, although maybe a Lincoln Sphere could have proved a little bit more useful. This one will at least guarantee that the silence every single time will be taken off.
I'll agree to that, and equally though, the other big item that we see picked up, and this is another unorthodox one, something we see rarely, it's only the second time I've seen it done in a pro game, we have an Aghanim Scepter onto HWA's Skywrath Mage. Now, he's got 800 mana, this reduces the cooldown to 0. How many times can he cast before he runs out of mana? 4 times, I believe.
Just 3 unless he gets enough Bloodstone regen. But yeah, it's probably just going to be 2 with the other spells that he wants to spam out, which is still going to be able to burst down target incredibly fast. With the magic amp that we've already seen in this game, it could be huge. Honestly, Aghanim Scepter on Skywrath Mage isn't useful until you have the Bloodstone, which is why we don't see it very often. But in a 50-minute game,
again, Blue Banana gets Hex. Now they're looking for more off the back of the Deafening Blast, but 4-staff gaming pays off again. How many 4-staffs do HEHE United have? I see
3.
Yeah, 1 on the Mirana, 1 on the Skywrath Mage, and 1 on the Earthshaker. 4-staff gaming to protect their carry, and very wise investment in my mind.
Yeah, up against a Night Stalker and all of these melee heroes, kiting him is just so important, and it's always a good item, and Honestly, I think sometimes it's underrated. We have bots down to bottom from the Night Stalker.
Yep, but BKB now popped by Nihis, but now we get the turnaround. Veil of Discord's used, but the Abyssal Blade in response. Can they bring down Nihis in time? Bash 1, Bash 2. Do they need a third? No, they don't. In comes the Fisher, the turnaround. Look at the triple Ancient Seal. Down goes the Night Stalker. Sorry, triple Mystic Flare. And it forces the Primal Split, at least for the Brewmaster to survive, but they're hunting that Earth Panda. They want that Earth Panda. Can they kill that Earth Panda? I believe they can. I don't think he's going to be able to escape this one. He's going to try to blink the second this ends, but it's going to be up to the timing here, and they try for it again. They catch him with the Yules and perfect timing. Down goes Afterlife. A killing spree for Fire, and most importantly, two of the biggest, hardest-hitting cores dead on the side of Sqreen Squad, and that's the perfect response. That's exactly what we needed to see.
How many times do you get to see that? A triple Mystic Flare from HWA just ripped through these very tanky heroes in the Brewmaster and Night Stalker.
That was scary. That was downright scary.
And now 11 Bloodstone charges. He's going to be able to do that a lot more liberally through the next couple of fights after the pickup of those. Yeah, I don't know. Just ridiculous. Ethereal Blade next for Skywrath Mage, one can hope.
I would think so, and it would not surprise me. Then again, we see a Sheep Stick going to be the item of choice. Either Sheep Stick or Shivas, both would be very optimal here, but you say that we have the liberal use of Mystic Flare coming with the Bloodstone charges. I think that might be understating it.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I think liberal can be upgraded to spam use of Mystic Flare off the back of that. I mean, that was such an absurd level of damage, and now we've got Slander potentially being quite out of position. They're going to use the Poison Over, but oh, this could be nasty. The Blade Mail is going to tick down Nihis a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter much at this point. Slander could still fall, but should be safe. I think he might be safe. Then again, he doesn't look safe. She's pretty much dead. Slander will fall.
Yeah, Sqreen could have denied her there, but yeah, level 3 Aghanim Scepter ulti with the Gale, as well as the Poison Sting from him and the wards, not a chance. That's all of those buffs last for like 15 seconds. It does an absurd amount of damage, although not quickly.
Do you want to do the math on that one?
Not really. I mean, we already like kind of touched on the ultimate, but then you just, yeah, it's not a chance.
Yeah, they're going to force the BKB out of Nubic here, and now we can see potential for turnaround, but in comes the Moonlight Shadow. They want to get the hell out of dodge. Fire is safe, HWA is safe, but does force at least the BKB of that Night Stalker, which I believe now is down to 4 seconds. 5 seconds of it. He also has that Heart of Tarask now online, so he's got 4,000 health.
Yeah. The Blade Mail pickup from Vengeful Spirit, I like it, although her HP pool isn't big enough to really hurt anybody but the Skywrath Mage, and even he, with the completed Bloodstone as well as Ags, he's sitting at a pretty comfortable 2,500. Usually, like, 1,700 return damage is ridiculous, but honestly, I would like to see a Blade Mail on the Night Stalker, although I don't think we will. He probably just needs more damage. He can't afford to waste that slot at this point in the game.
I would completely agree, but what damage item do you go for here? I mean, you already have an AC. What physical damage item could we see?
Mjolnir would be pretty solid up against all of the dots coming out from HEHE, but that is
it comes the Ion Cannon, and they almost bring down Nubic. It's not a Mystic Flare anymore, it is quite literally an Ion Cannon. 4,000 health, reduced to under 250 in half a second. Oh my god.
Yeah. Lucky enough for that Night Stalker, they had 4-staff support on their side, but yeah.
I think I honestly have no idea. They need to bring down that Skywrath Mage by surprise. They need to jump him. Literally, they need to jump him and kill him and drag his corpse into a back alley somewhere.
You asked what damage item I'd like for Night Stalker. Honestly, I think a Blink Dagger would be really good. Like, just being able to Blink Abyssal somebody is probably more important because he hasn't been able to stick to any targets. Although it is pretty slot greedy. They are just going to back off into Roshan after that smoke.
I believe this is the 3rd Roshan. Could be the 4th one. Fourth Roshan, so 2nd cheese in the game. Did they actually use the previous cheese?
I'm not sure. Brewmaster was holding it. I think he did.
Yeah, he must have used it. But cheese and the Aegis go the way once more of Sqreen Squad. And we're now 56 minutes in this game. Another arrow's going to fly through. What do we have? 0 gold differential between these two teams. 0 an hour!
At this point, gold doesn't matter even if there was an advantage. It's all about execution, but that is insane to watch. Throughout this game, it's been so back and forth, and I've never seen just like such a flatline graph at 60 minutes in.
I completely agree. I have never seen a graph like that. I mean, what in Divinity's Edge has gone on this game? That is what one steep change that has repeatedly happened throughout this game. Back and forth, left, right, and centre. Speaking of back and forth, HWA, sheeped up. Can we see the rotation on this one? Nope, 4-staffed gaming saves the day.
Yeah, it's real though. Like, the kiting from all of these spells is just so important from both sides. Gyrocopter wants to stick on you, so does Sqreen Mage. It's excellent, but for now, the push is coming out from Sqreen Squad.
Yeah. We do, however, have that butterfly now present for the gyrocopter, so when I ask what damage item I'd want to see, I'm actually wanting to see an MKB, but in comes the Mystic Flares! Oh, even across 2 targets that hurts.
They really need to save those until they get a missile or something landing first, because if they hold them in place, they're dead.
I would completely agree, and now we get the BKBs, they're going to go straight onto near his. They need the poison over though, in comes the cooldown, Fisher as well. Do we have the Nova? No, we don't, and the Ion Cannon's still falling, but now, who's going to get the next bit of damage? You get the Echo Slam commit, and that's a kill onto the VS. However, they lost the Venomancer in the meantime. Venomancer does have a buyback ready to go, and a Gem of True Sight has gone onto the deck, but where's the turnaround? What are they going to go for next? They're going to go for Nubik, more Ion Cannons, and they will bring down the Night Stalker, but the Aegis is going to bring him back alive. The Ice Pad is going to go down, trying to at least slow down Chip, but equally, Ewell's onto that Sqreen Mage, and the fight is just going back and forth, left, right, and centre. Buyback by the Earthshaker. Almost everyone's back up there, holding off on the buyback for the Venomancer, but he doesn't have his poison over for 25 more seconds, and a good Fisher block going to buy time here for HEHE United. But where is the next engagement? They hit the arrow onto Nubik. Are they going to commit to this one? 4-stuff in. They're going to try to go for him, but they're going to throw the Frostbite straight onto that Gyrocopter and buy some time. But in comes the aggressive Fisher, as well as the Ion Cannon. Cleans up one. Ion Cannon number 2 cleans up a second, and HWA on a killing spree.
It's so ridiculous to watch. I mean, it's really cool to drop them instantly on one target and kill them, but oh, Blue Banana.
Yep, gonna get caught out by the double BKB and the Abyssal Blade, but Blue Banana's still falling too quickly. There's no way to stop this one. The Sqreen Mage is here with the Ion Cannons, but equally, Ion Cannon number 1 misses. They use the Moonlight Shadow to buy time, and a second one drops, but it's not enough. They need to force back, and they need to escape, but Afterlife taking some good damage. Do we get another? Yes, we do, but it can't get the kill. It's a complete whiff, but arrow gonna fly through, not gonna connect on anyone, and Nubik forced back.
Finally, he has the heart. He might be able to turn if they chase him too much. I don't know. The mana is coming back up for the Sqreen Mage. Concussor Shot will delay things. Are they going to be able to get this one? It looks like they will. 4-staff Fissure.
Yep, they're going to be able to get the back of that one off the arrow. They're not even going to need another Mystic Flare, and a nice cleanup there by HWA on a dominating spree now. And what can you do to stop this Sqreen Mage? Bar of silencing him. How do you stop him at this point?
I don't know. I'm seriously considering, like, the Blink Abyssal. As much as he needs an MKB, he might just be forced to, I don't know, get rid of his Aghanim Scepter. It's
starting to
not
fall
really
off in terms of its effectiveness.
Yeah, I think you just get rid of the Ags, because you need some way to jump into them.
Indeed, and we're up at 16 Bloodstone charges now for HWA, as well as the regeneration rune he found. So, the next fight, he's going to be at full capacity, and he can blast down any one of these heroes, and we have seen it. The rotation, I've got to say, the comeback, because look at the graph. HEHE United, they had an early advantage, they lost it. Then Sqreen Squad just exerted so much control. Sure, the graph doesn't show much gold, but they almost had racks. And now we've just gone the extreme flip side of that coin again. HEHE United are the heavy hitters again. They're going late game, and the Gyrocopter is starting to come online. Has the MKB, has the Butterfly, as well as building towards a Satanic now, and almost having that on top of it. He's nearly got 3 tier 3 items.
Yeah. At this point, though, Blue Banana, his damage isn't that significant if you look at the Night Stalker with 17 armor, as well as just 4,000 HP. Blue Banana doesn't dent that. The one who's really hitting hard is the Sqreen Mage.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be near enough time, I reckon, for instead of just getting like a Blink Abyssal Blade, they're going to have to consider new BKBs.
Oh yeah, I think that's actually probably your first order of business. With 4 seconds on Night Stalker, they have a new one on the Brewmaster, which is great, but 4 seconds is not going to cut it. He's going to be able to regen up like a quarter of his mana pool, which is ridiculous with the 16 Bloodstone charges.
Well, it's a matter of time now before we see the next, train crash. And we've got a Scythe of Ice now present as well onto the Sqreen Mage. So, you've got all of the control and CC effects you could possibly want. You've got enough mana for 4 near enough. No, yeah, 4 Mystic Flares before you consider regeneration. Could probably get off 6 before regeneration has taken him too low. It's nuts. That's the only word I have for it. Absolutely nuts.
Usually, when you see people grouped up, your Mystic Flares aren't doing that much damage, but if you drop 4 on their head, like if they get like a 3-man Echo Slam with those Mystic Flares on top of it, that's going to be a team wipe. I'm hoping for that synergy to come into play.
And speaking of new BKBs, there is one for that Brewmaster. So now the Siege Tier 3 tower. They're going to just push this one back. This is just illusions and Forge Spirits. They lose the Tier 3, and they're not going to want to really commit to this one. Look how far back the entire side of Sqreen Squad are. This is danger territory. Flat out danger territory here for HEHE United.
It's dangerous for both teams.
Yeah, it is dangerous for both teams. And now we get the Blink Fisher in. Going to at least buy time. Mystic Flare number 1 does some good damage, but not going to commit anything extra to that. Slow onto Nubik. And Arrow too as well. If they hit, that Arrow hits, that could be huge. But swap out from Slander last second just to ensure it doesn't connect. And high ground gaming. Now we get the BKB going uphill, even forcing Sqreen's BKB. And that's going to at least keep the Crystal Maiden alive, but now we get the potential for initiation. Afterlife being caught out of position. Look at the BKBs used. 1 already. Now we get a BKB from Blue Banana as well as Nubik popping his. And Mystic Flares just keep dropping. Where's the next kill going to happen though? In comes the Echo Slam. Going to go down on the Crystal Maiden. Then they bring down the Night Stalker as well. But he's going to immediately buy back and start heading back into this fight. But Fire will go down in exchange. 111 seconds down for him. He's off the back of a buyback, so that's a long respawn for him. But now, Nubik does get sheeped up. Where's the damage? Where are the Mystic Flares? We're not seeing them at this point. He doesn't have the mana right now. He needs more regeneration. But ZXC and Nubik are being held, at least for now. Aftershock will manage to blink away. And Afterlife does not want to risk getting hit. And ZXC being forced back as well. But the Ice Path is holding them down, slowing them down for a half second. Mirana will leap away, but Mystic Flare cleans up the Invoker. Now you've just got the Night Stalker battling against 4. Is this really the fight you want the Night Stalker to be taking? No, it isn't. He's going to be forced back. Another Mystic Flare drops, but it is nowhere near enough. They need the damage. They need the slows. 4-star forward. Can they get another Mystic Flare? He's not got enough mana for it yet. He's going to try to fight, but Cheese being popped by Nubik. Could they potentially get a kill onto HWA here? No, but in the meantime, Afterlife comes in on the back foot. Does get that Thunderclap. And now down goes HWA with one more Mystic Flare, but a Poison Nova being used. And good damage across the board. Where is the turnaround, though? Do we have anything to get any form of aggression? We need an objective. That's a full 5-man wipe in favor of HEHE, but they now need a Rax. They need something. Oh, yeah, boy.
Pretty much sums it up. They cost them so dearly coming out from Sqreen Squad. Scarlet Mage, he's really the carry. Like, it's those arcane bolts that he's spamming out that are really doing the big damage. With almost 200 intelligence, those are hitting for more than 400 a pop. That's like a Dagon 1 every 2 seconds. But then he has the Mystic Flares on top. It's ridiculous. And they finally got him at the end of that, and they're going to force out the buybacks, and I don't think they'll be able to go. They get an arrow on the screen, but they can't jump into that.
No, they can't. Not a chance. And, well, mass buybacks are going to try to hold this one. All buybacks are still ready, with the exception of Mirana, though, for HEHE. So, we're back at the start, mate. Everyone's alive again. They couldn't get an objective. The back and forth. 65 minutes in, and this game... I'm going to bring up the graph. We know the graph doesn't make much sense right now, but 5k lead, finally, in favour of HEHE once again, for the first time in, 35 minutes.
It's so weird to see a 5k lead and be really excited about that in 65 minutes, because really, that's negligible, but it's almost the biggest lead we've seen this game.
Oh, I'm running out of words, good God. This is 2 games in a row. Aggression across the board. Just wanting to fight. We're over 100 kills, guys. How many games can you say where there are over 100 kills in it?
Very few, and especially in a game that's this aggressive, you don't expect it to last this long. Usually one team's going to come out ahead, but it's actually just so back and forth. One teamfight win for HEHE, one teamfight win for Sqreen Squad. Night Stalker gets a couple, then the Scarlet Mage wrecks some. It's unlike any other Dota game I've seen.
Well, we have Hex up on the screen. This could be an Ancient Seal kill very easily, but BKB popped by that Crystal Maiden, at least buying some time, but Moonlight Shadow is there. Are we going to see aggression here towards the top lane, bot lane even? It seems so. The Fish is going to drop, but the Mystic Flares don't connect, and well, they need the regen right now onto Scarlet Knight. He needs more regeneration, damn it. He's ticking up at 61.3 a second. He needs more. But right now, we have the opportunity for the big man going down potentially for the first time in favor of HEHE. And this could be huge.
Yeah. Well, if you take a look at Gyrocopter's items, he is going for an Abyssal Blade. Not what I would like to see. Honestly, I want to see the Divine Rapier, especially if they get the Aegis here.
I was going to say Divine time. We're at that point in the game where a Divine can be the big thing, and in the meantime, we get that Blink Dagger in onto Afterlife, but he blinks right into an arrow! Swap away by Slander, at least buying some time for that brew, but now we get the potential for turnaround kill, and forcing Afterlife out like that, that is a huge thing.
Yeah. Inside the Roshan pit, it's just a couple of serpent or plague wards, and it's another awkward standoff. They're just waiting for another arrow or something to land. That Vengeful Spirit coming in huge at level 16 swap. The range is wonderful, and defensively up against the Scarlet Mage especially, it's really good. But into the Roshan pit they go with Blue Banana, the only one in there fully committed. He has the BKB, and it looks like they want to make it go. Blue Banana might get jumped on here. This could break out at any moment.
Indeed, and now with the Tornado, is this going to be the go they're looking for? They've got the entire side starting to loop in from two sides. It could be a pincer movement here. Committing to the Roshan pit, though, could be a big disaster for either of these teams. You've got Echo Slam one side, Skywrath Mage, and then the flip side of the coin, you've got the Panda split, you've got the Invoker. But then again, you're forcing BKBs once more. This is the second time I've seen Sqreen pop a BKB. He's down to 5 seconds. An arrow going to fly. Is it going to impact on anyone? No, it doesn't. It whizzes past ZXC's ear, and we're back at a stalemate. We are honestly at a stalemate. However, ZXC gets caught out of position. 4-Staff and swap away, however. It's 4-Staff gaming once more, and in comes the Primal Split. Blue Banana standing strong, and he's chewing apart the Earth Panda. Equally, Slander taking some damage on the high ground. Sunstroke's going to deploy, but no kill yet. And in comes Fire, looking for 2. Gets a big stun. They manage to bring down the Panda and Brewmaster. Now they're looking for Sqreen. Mystic Flares all over the place. Down goes the Crystal Maiden, and equally Echo Slam onto Nubik. If they can bring him down, that's huge, but Slander will fall in the backlines, and they're going to do it. They're going to bring down the Night Stalker. Triple kill for HWA.
Oh. Ridiculous. That damage coming out from them. The defensive swaps were nice, but the Invoker didn't have any real impact in that teamfight. He was brought down to 300 HP, even with the 4-Staffs and swaps. HWA is just an absolute cannon. Blue Banana munched through those Brewlings there. They couldn't do anything. At this point in the game, Brewmaster's ultimate doesn't stand a chance. He probably has a better chance of living if he doesn't pop it, and without popping it, he has no impact. So it's a catch-22 for the Brewmaster, and they need the fight of their life now. They don't have the best AoE, and I think HEHE have found their big opening with the Aegis and Cheese. Cheese on the Skywrath Mage, I love this choice. He doesn't really need the Aegis, as he'll respawn fast enough and has Boots of Travel. He needs the extra ability to drop mana, and that potentially could translate into an additional 3 ultimates with the 2,000.
No, it's only 1,000 mana restored by a Cheese.
Oh, it's only
2,500 health, but it'll give him it'll give him at least one more Mystic Flare. Add to the power of the Ion Cannon. Yes, it damn well is. I'm running out of words completely for this game, and you can just see the graph. 10,000 lead. That's nothing. Either side can still take this. 10,000 gold is nothing in this game. 12,000 experience, still nothing. And I'm expecting. Do we have level 25 across all these heroes yet? 25 Venomancer, 24 Marana, 25 Skywrath Mage, 24 Earthshaker, 25 Gyrocopter versus 22 Crystal Maiden. Equally though, you've got a 20 Vengeful Spirit, but 25 Invoker, 25 Brewmaster, 25 Night Stalker.
When 20 is the lowest level in the game, levels don't matter at all. Like, it's completely negligible. There's only 4 heroes that are below level 25, and 2 of those are 24.
Indeed. It is so damn close still. I cannot stress how close this game is. I mean, either side can take this with the right initiation. Sure, HEHE United have the sheer upfront damage potential, but if Sqreen Squad can get the right positioning, can dodge these ion cannons, it's going to potentially swing their way. And we're 71 minutes in, and this game still has no definitive leader.
Yeah, I would favor HEHE because their initiation's a little bit easier to pull off. They have the instant initiation coming out from Blink Echo Slam of Fire, as well as 2 hexes, whereas the side of Sqreen Squad only have 1, and they don't have a convincing way to follow up after the Brewmaster split anymore. That used to be the king of initiation, but that was 35 minutes ago. Brewmaster...
Only 35 minutes ago.
Only... Well, you're talking about a 70-minute game. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, and... This is such a good game to cast, and they're going to go into Slander. They will bring him down. That VS could be a very key thing. We've got an Ethblade present as well. Ethblade onto Nihis of all players. Very good pickup on him as well, since it'll help him survive against the physical damage of the Night Stalker and of the Brewmaster. I like it.
Yeah, this just made the life of HEHE so much easier, because the problem they were having in the early initiations was the defensive swaps going out from Venge to Spirit. This is a minute with no Venge. She was one of the heroes with no buyback. She was only 400 gold away, and that 400 gold might have just spelled the beginning of the end for Sqreen Squad, as this first lane of Brax is not looking healthy.
Indeed it isn't, and it's going down very quickly, and now the fortification's over. That's 5 minutes before we'll see it again, and this could be the first racks of the game. But, while this is going on, we have a base race scenario, ladies and gentlemen. This game can't get any more crazy. The Poison Nova to be commit, and now you've got Nihis gonna be brought down. Can't Earthblade in time, and they could lose racks for racks, trade for trade, but Afterlife goes down to the Ion Cannon of HWA, and the Ion Cannons keep falling. Looking for Nubik, almost can bring him down, but still, Sqreen in the middle of the mix, drops the Crystal Nova, doing as much as he can, but it does not matter. HWA on a double, and they hold their racks. Good God, they're gonna give me a heart attack.
Maybe, is the mid-racks is taken and they defend their own. The problem there is that they didn't have their Venge. Venge was so good up against the Scarlet Mage early on, but they didn't have enough Force Staffs coming out from them in order to defend against those initiations. The Ion Cannons that time were huge. 4,000 HP looks ridiculous, but to the Scarlet Mage with triple ulti, that meant nothing. 20 Bloodstone charges on him now. 20?
He's almost got an instant respawn.
Yeah.
Holy hell. In the meantime, we still have... I'm going to say it, we're at potential point where Sqreen Squad may want to turn around and invest in the item we shall never speak of. They may invest in the Divine Rapier. Can they risk investing in it, though?
I don't think they will. Honestly, I don't think HEHE are going to go for it, but as far as the Night Stalker, he doesn't have enough money to do so, and they're knocking on the tier 4s. They don't care. They're not going for other racks. They're going to end this game now.
Yeah. Racks mean nothing. Throne means everything in this case, and now we get the swap back onto fire. But in come the Ion Cannons and the Echo Slam as well. They clean up the Vengeful Spirit. Now they're going to look to clean up ZXC, and Nubik is back in the fight, but still, the Ancient is falling. The Ancient cannot be stopped at this point, and another Ion Cannon to fall, and Nubik goes down. Double kill for HWA, and what an absolute turnaround we have seen. Buyback, but it does not matter. The game goes the way of HEHE United.
What a damn game. Oh my goodness. Scarlet Mage the best carry. I have very little words for that game. It's so hard to evaluate. That was a minute and 14, or an hour and 14 minutes of gameplay where it was so close, and then just 2 fights, it was over.
You don't have the words for it. I have 4 words for it. What in Divinity's Edge? What the hell just did we witness?
Nobody's done that in the history of Dota, friends.
I'm honestly looking forward to casting these 2 teams again in the future.
I'm sad we don't have a game 3. That was exhilarating. 1 for 1. That's gonna be all.
Oh yeah, that's only all. But still, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on HeflaTV for this game. You can find all of us casters-wise at HeflaTV on Twitch, on Twitter. Either way. Wow, what a game. We hope you enjoyed the cast, and you can find the VOD for this if you want to link it to your friends at HeflaMoke on YouTube. And as for us casters, you can find me at Mr_Blackadder on Twitch and Twitter. Where can they find you, Grandis?
Oh, they can find me on Twitter and Twitch at GrandisV, GRADSV, pretty easy there. And, well, thanks for watching. It was a blast casting that game.
It honestly was, and we're going to play some music out, and we look forward to seeing you again here on HeflaTV 1, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out from me, and he'll see you next time. Catch you next time on the stream.